Let's take a look at example number 4, which deals with prime numbers. So in this code, what we are going to do is actually display the first 1,000 number of primes. We have set a variable called number of primes, which is going to be equal to 1,000. And the number of primes per line for the sake of the aesthetic display is going to be 10 numbers, 10 prime numbers. So we start with a count of 0 and number 2, which is the number to first be tested for primeness. And then we are going to print the first 50 prime numbers are and everything that will come out of this loop. So this loop starts with a while condition. So while this count is less than the number of primes, which is obviously something that's going to be incremented every time we go through a number, we will first assume the number is prime. If the Boolean condition is satisfied, so if is prime is true, test if is the number prime by starting with the first divisor, which is 2. And while this divisor is less or equal to the number we are testing divided by 2, then if number gets divided by the divisor, then it's not a prime anymore because we have found another divisor, meaning here the rest is equal to 0. So it has been perfectly divided. It gives an integer. Is prime false and break, we exit the loop. Else we increment the divisor and we keep trying here to add. If is prime, so if the condition remains true after this, we increment the count by 1. So this is one new prime number that we have. And we are going to print in a format number with 5 decimals, ending with here the 2 brackets right here to go to the next number. And if count number of primes equals 0, then we jump to a new line. So if the count number of primes per line is divided by 0, so if we get 11, for example, it means, or if we get 10, it means that we will switch to the line for the next one. And we increment the number right here. So we start with number 2, and we'll keep incrementing in order to get all the different prime numbers that we want. So let's see how this program works. It's pretty straightforward. It's actually pretty easy. So once we run this program, this is what we obtain. The first 1,000 prime numbers starting with 2, 3, 5, 7, and you see each time I go to the line. So each time I go to the line after 10 numbers, which is actually what we have done. We could change the program in number of primes and add more numbers. Of course, the bigger the numbers, the more the program will take time to compute them all. And here we have displayed all the first 1,000 prime numbers that easily. Okay, so the condition here, I repeat, we first assume that the number is a prime and we test. So we start with a divisor equal 2, and as long as the divisor is less or equal to the number we are testing divided by 2, obviously, if the number that we are testing gets divided by the divisors that we are trying, if it happens, then we will break the loop because it means that the number is not a prime anymore. Like, for example, if we take number 9, if we divide it by 2, it does not work. But if we divide it by 3, it works. So it will get out of the loop. That's why you're not going to see number 9 here. But if we take, for example, number 7, the divisor divided by 2 for 7 is going to be 3.5 if it's a decimal, or if we increment it, it's going to be 4. But if we want to have an integer, of course. But in that case, if we try to divide 7 by 2, we do not obtain something with the rest equal to 0. If we try to divide it by 3, also, if we try to divide it by any other number like 4, 5, 6, that's not going to work. So, of course, we're not trying 5 here because it's greater than the divisor by 2. But all of the others that are less than this do not divide 7. And that's why 7 is going to be a prime number. And so if that case is true, then if is prime, we increment the count that we have right here, which will increment it in order to keep testing for this condition. And in that case, once we get to 10 numbers, we skip to the line at number 11, and we keep skipping every 10 numbers in order to have something aesthetically easy to read. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you for example number 5.